Hello and welcome to Lamplighter. Today is October 2. Today in our daily Bible reading, we read some fairly challenging reading from the prophet Zechariah. These are Zechariah's futuristic prophecies. And I want to begin today with reading a short portion of the summary section or the commentary section in the gray at the beginning of today's reading. This is at the top of page 1270. The prophecies in the form of two oracles are once again highly figurative. They are undoubtedly messianic and give some of the closest details about the life and death of the Messiah. For example, in contrast to the present kings and their chariots of war, this spiritual king will come gently, in peace, riding on a donkey. He will be betrayed for 30 pieces of silver, and he will be pierced at the time of his death. Zechariah addresses a number of themes, past, present, and future, which lead to an apocalyptic view of the great battle between good and evil, the destruction of the wicked, and the salvation of the righteous. So you can see there is a lot going to be packed into today's reading. I do want you to be listening for and watching for, with me, those messianic prophecies, specific prophecies found only in Zechariah. So we begin with a section entitled The Destruction of Oppressors. Tyre has built herself a stronghold. She has heaped up silver like dust and gold like the dirt of the streets. But the Lord will take away her possessions and destroy her power on the sea, and she will be consumed by fire. Gaza will lose her king, and Ashkelon will be deserted. Foreigners will occupy Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. Never again will an oppressor overrun my people, for now I am keeping watch. Now the people have always been crying out to God for their enemies to get what they deserve, so to speak. And here God is saying through Zechariah, he is taking care of all of those who have oppressed Israel. Then we read of the coming of Zion's king. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, daughter of Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you righteous and having salvation, gentle and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey. He will proclaim peace to the nations. His rule will extend from sea to sea. As for you, because of the blood of my covenant with you, I will free your prisoners from the waterless pit. Return to your fortress, O prisoners of hope. Even now I announce that I will restore twice as much to you. So a clear prophecy of the coming Messiah as he enters Jerusalem riding on a donkey. Then we have the appearance of the Lord. The Lord will appear over them. His arrow will flash like lightning. The sovereign Lord will sound the trumpet. He will march in the storms of the south, and the Lord Almighty will shield them. The Lord their God will save them on that day as the flock of his people. They will sparkle in his land like jewels in a crown. How attractive and beautiful they will be. Again, God knows those who are his, and his people are going to be rewarded with this coming Messiah. Ask the Lord for rain in the springtime. It is the Lord who makes the storm clouds. The idols speak deceit. Diviners see visions that lie. They tell dreams that are false. They give comfort in vain. Therefore, the people wander like sheep, oppressed by the lack of a shepherd. This is the result of idolatry in the land. Everything the idolaters are saying is false about God himself, and God is setting the record straight here. He speaks of the redemption of Israel. I will strengthen the house of Judah and save the house of Joseph. I will restore them because I have compassion on them. They will be as though I had not rejected them, for I am the Lord their God, and I will answer them. Surely I will redeem them. They will be as numerous as before. Though I scatter them among the peoples, yet in distant lands they will remember me. They and their children will survive, and they will return. Assyria's pride will be brought down, and Egypt's scepter will pass away. I will strengthen them in the Lord, and in his name they will walk, declares the Lord. Again, the people of God have no reason to fear these troublesome times or troubling nations, because God is sovereign God. Remember, the story is about God It is God who is in control of all the nations, not simply the nation of Israel. There is a lament here spoken for the shepherds, and then a discussion of good and bad shepherds. Their own shepherds do not spare them, God says. So I pastured the flock marked for slaughter, particularly the oppressed of the flock. Then I took 2 staffs and called one Favor and the other Union, and I pastured the flock. Then I took my staff, called Favor, and broke it, revoking the covenant I had made with all the nations. I told them, if you think it best, give me my pay, but not, keep it. So they paid me 30 pieces of silver. And the Lord said to me, throw it to the potter, the handsome price at which they priced me. So I took 30 pieces of silver and threw them into the house of the Lord to the potter. Then I broke my second staff called Union, breaking the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. Take again the equipment of a foolish shepherd, for I'm going to raise up a shepherd over the land who will not care for the lost, or seek the young, or heal the injured, or feed the healthy, but will eat the meat of the choice sheep, fearing off their hooves. Woe to the worthless shepherds who desert the flock. May the sword strike his arm and his right eye. May his arm be completely withered, his right eye totally blinded. God here is talking about the inconsistencies, the unfaithfulness of those who've been given charge over his people. They have not been good shepherds. They have not led the people or cared for the oppressed or bound up those who are broken. But God is alluding to a time when a Messiah is coming, a Messiah who may be betrayed, as he will be, for 30 pieces of silver. You notice that 30 pieces of silver is thrown into the potter's field. That's exactly what happens when Judas returns the 30 pieces of silver much later. It is used to purchase a potter's field called the field of blood. All of this is prophesied by Zechariah. It is God's cleansing of a nation that has been destroyed by poor leadership. Then you have the salvation of Jerusalem. I will make Jerusalem an immovable rock for all the nations, God says. Then the leaders of Judah will say in their hearts, the people of Jerusalem are strong because the Lord Almighty is their God. On that day, the Lord will shield those who live in Jerusalem, so that the feeblest among them will be like David, and the house of David will be like God, like the angel of the Lord going before them. On that day, I will set out to destroy all the nations that attack Jerusalem. There it is again. God is taking care of those oppressing nations. And I will pour out on the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and supplication. They will look on me, the one they have pierced, and they will mourn for him as one mourns for an only child, and grieve bitterly for him as one grieves for a firstborn son. There's this image of looking on the one who has been pierced, a clear reference to the crucified Christ. On that day, a fountain will be opened to the house of David. There will be cleansing offered for sin. And again, an allusion to the cross where the blood that forgives sin will be shed. The people are described as the scattered sheep. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will be scattered, and I will turn my hand against the little ones. In the whole land, declares the Lord, 2/3 will be struck down and perish, yet 1/3 will be left in it. This third I will bring into the fire. I will refine like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. I will say they are my people, and they will say the Lord is our God. There is a great battle that'll take place between good and evil, but the Lord will be king over the whole earth. On that day, there will be one Lord, and his name the only name. And so the righteous will celebrate. They will acknowledge God as the king. It is a holy kingdom set apart for God and his people. Ultimately, as always, no matter what battles are fought between good and evil, good will prevail. God is good. God is sovereign over all creation. And because he is our sovereign God, life is good. Isn't it great to be a lamplighter? His word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. I hope you have a blessed day.